Hey, look at that.
And hey everyone, so welcome to I don't know what edition this is of the BSD postgame show, aka the Jordan Lucas Poop Fart Hour, presented by
Presented by Gay Hooters.
Gay Hooters. We have a new corporate sponsor in Gay Hooters. Um, tonight Penn State loses 18-13. Well, let me introduce everyone first. We have Bill DeFlippo.
Is it
Say
Flippo?
hi.
DeFilippo?
I don't know.
I,
I'm eating pizza.
I tell people that I've heard it so many ways that I'm not even 100% sure how to pronounce it anymore.
That's not true.
DeFilippo is the
Okay.
way. Like, the joke is, I've heard DeFilippo, DeFilippo, Del Flippio.
Del Flipio?
People just, like, start adding letters because in central Pennsylvania there are so many Italians that you're so used to Italian names that, like, people are just blown away by the thought that someone could be something other than Pennsylvania Dutch.
All right. Bill, what are you drinking tonight to ease the pain?
Poland Spring. I went to TGI Fridays and I did the $10 appetizer thing, so I consumed enough sodium.
No.
I consumed enough sodium to shut down the Dead Sea. So
What did you do?
um,
Which of the apps? Mozzarella sticks?
wings. No. We were going to get mozzarella sticks, but my friend reminded me of that piece in Gawker. Of
Yeah,
that
that's
lady.
why you get mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, we didn't want to turn into her. Um, so we got wings, the sriracha potato skins, which are awesome, and the Jack Daniel's barbecue platter.
Nice.
It actually sounds delicious.
It was, which
Yeah.
is why I'm drinking water, because I need to cleanse myself of those impurities.
All right. Fair enough.
Fair.
Yeah, I'll be taking notes throughout the day, and it'll just be me writing "kill me."
Great
And
for Mojo.
sporting the flannel glasses and beard, joining us is Devin Edwards. Devin, how are you
So,
feeling, and what is your drink of choice tonight?
that would be the best beverage we've ever had, and that is Diet Lemon Snapple. Ladies and gentlemen, it is both refreshing and good for you, and it comes with an interesting fact. Did you know that John Donovan is fucking terrible? How prescient, Snapple!
Oh god. See, Devin, you have to calm down with the whole love for Snapple thing because the only endorsement we have is Gay Hooters.
Yeah. Yeah, Gay Hooters won't like that.
They don't serve Snapple at Gay Hooters?
No, I don't think so. For those of you unaware, Gay Hooters is just like regular Hooters except intended for gay males between the ages of 18 and 35.
Well, I thought it was just a front for Dyson Airblades hand dryers.
And erotic big buck hunter.
So,
But I gotta say, the Benghazi wings are delicious.
they are. As well as the Onion Ring Tower 7. It's still that's great as well. So,
Yeah, let's talk about something that people understand.
yeah. So Penn State takes a loss tonight in Michigan Stadium, 18-13.
We all picked a
Before they-
loss tonight, right?
I picked a loss.
I
Yes.
picked a loss. Devin?
I picked a win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So don't listen to Devin for the next hour and a half because
The
he's
one time you're optimistic, Devin.
Oh no, I'm always optimistic. I just like cover it in mounds of shit so I can convince myself I'm not an optimist. Like I've never actually picked Penn State to lose.
What are you going to do against Ohio State?
Abstain.
So yeah, Penn State loses 18-13, a score we get to by Penn State taking a safety as they are backed up to their 2-yard line late in order to attempt an onside kick, which they recover, but is called offsides, which wasn't really offsides because Dave Wittevit is just an asshole. And then Michigan runs the clock out.
See, here's the thing. I'm not even sure if it's intentional because I don't think Dave Whitfield is smart enough to try and actively and pull off a conspiracy. I think he might be senile. It's a thought. I'm not positive. It's a theory.
Right. Well, he sounded a whole lot better than he did than in the Rutgers game. He didn't sound like the teacher from Charlie Brown this week.
Yeah.
You might have convinced me back then that he was just senile. But yeah, so I guess we can start with just the anemic offense that we saw tonight. Let me try to pull up some stats here. Penn State gains 214 total yards.
Is that bad?
It's
160 through the air and 54 on the ground. The funny thing is that, Bill Belton rushed for 69 yards.
nice.
I love you guys.
And what's really, sort of discerning is that Bill Belton had 55 yards through 8 carries in the first half. And if my math is correct, they only let him run the ball 6 more times for 14 yards in the second half.
That's why they pay the big bucks.
That's why they pay John Donovan the big bucks, I guess. Devin, we'll just let you. You're going to start ranting at some point about firing John Donovan. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way now and tell us why Penn State should fire John Donovan.
So here's a statistic that Dan and I were discussing pregame before this show went on, and I think it's a really cool idea, to the John Donovan number, which is the ratio of called runs to Hackenberg sacks and scrambles. So today that number was 22 to 10. So barely batting above like 667. Anyway, you look at this offense, and it's not necessarily clear how much of it is Donovan's fault, how much is Hackenberg's fault, how much is the offensive line, how much is the receivers. But when you get to a point where the running game is working really well, straight ahead carries, and then you don't need to pull out the stupid Jay Paterno video game shit. You don't. And I mean, today it seemed like the pocket was holding up at times and then just utterly collapsing, going to shit. The rollouts weren't working. There's nothing, and it's not entirely fair, because that's the thing. Nothing worked. You'd think that, by some random combination of pushing buttons and calling plays, that John Donovan would have one thing that worked, but he didn't. But at this point, I think you almost need to make a change just for the sake of making a change, because what you have right now does not work.
Right, and I think if you look at John Donovan's offense at Vanderbilt when he was working with James Franklin, Austin Carter Samuels, who was the other
Jordan
guy?
Rodgers.
Jordan Rodgers. Even Jordan Rodgers, they had some mobility to them. This is not the offense that should be suited. That really isn't suited to have a quarterback like Christian Hackenberg. But
hey, don't worry, Brandon Bush gets here in 8 months.
Oh, Devin didn't get the memo.
Wait, what happened?
Wait, what? You didn't see?
We'll talk about this after the show, Devin. It's for the best.
Have you really been that stuck in law school?
No, dude, no. I'm fucking with you, Dan.
Okay. Well, you said you were very convincing.
Yeah, you.
Acting.
Right. But what we can say is that while this offense might not be best suited for Christian Hackenberg, John Donovan has probably an NFL first-round pick, at least talent-wise, at his disposal. So if your offense doesn't suit him, come up with an offense that suits him, because he's probably going to be your best chance to win at this point. Bill, what's your take on the entire offense? The thing is, it's not even really just the offensive line anymore. Yes, the offensive line is still horrible, but play calling, all of it is just being mashed together, and it's become a bigger problem than just, hey, the offensive line is bad. What's your take? What do you think needs to be done so Penn State can get 2 more wins and become bowl eligible this year?
Needs to be done. Just quickly off the top of your heads, who calls plays? Does anybody know for sure who calls the plays?
It has to be Donovan, right?
I think it is, but
I think it's Donovan. No.
But when
judging by how James Franklin started yelling at him, I would hope it's Donovan. Otherwise, I feel bad for him.
When we had Steph Morris on the pod 2 weeks ago, I said to him, listen, Herb Hand is the title of run game coordinator. I believe Ricky Ronnie has the title of pass game coordinator. What do those mean? And he's under the impression that means Hand is calling running plays and Ronnie is calling passing plays, which that almost seems to make sense with how confused everyone is with everything. But if it is down to Donovan, if that's the system, whatever the system is, at a certain point, I want James Franklin to step in and say, listen, I came to Penn State with the reputation of being an offensive genius. That is what I hung my
Did he?
hat on.
I did not think he had that reputation.
He was considered a very, very, very good offensive mind.
Really? I just thought he was. I thought the rap on him when he was at Vanderbilt and going back was that he was, not the best in-game coach, but like really good at everything else.
No, like he was tutored by Friedgen, and he was like you could look this up and double check me, but I'm like 99% sure he had the reputation of being an excellent offensive mind.
Okay, maybe wrong.
That's true.
He is a Friedgen disciple.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is.
We saw what Friedgen did to Michigan last week. What a Friedgen offense did to Michigan last week. At a certain point, I want James Franklin to step in and say, I am an offensive guy. I know offense. I know how to coach offense. I know how to call offense. I know how to do so much stuff with offense. I am calling plays because something needs to change. Whoever is calling the plays now, it's just not working. And I don't want what happened at Syracuse, where one coach lost the title of offensive coordinator and he just went to being a position coach, and a position coach stepped up to be the offensive coordinator, and it was just like a weird situation. Everyone hated it. I want Franklin to be the one that steps in and does this, because if something doesn't change, I don't want to jump on the fire everyone bandwagon, of course, but right now, whoever is calling the plays, they have to be on some kind of a hot seat. Penn State has had one touchdown in the last 2 games. What was the stat tweeted out by @Soju_Warrior? Penn State's first 3 drives, 25 plays, 145 yards, 10 first downs, 13 points. After that, 45
That's pretty
plays.
good.
Yeah, after that, 45 plays, 69 yards, 5 first downs, no points. Penn State scored more points for Michigan over its last 45 plays than it did for Penn State. That's not okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
Even a field goal. Like, Ficken has been money this year. Like, I know it started off as almost like a little bit of a joke that the like
$M.
Ficken. He's missed 2 field goals this year, and they were both
were blocked. Well, yeah. One of those is his fault. But
one of them, the blame could like be put on him or the line, or it was just a great block.
Okay.
The Rutgers one, they are just so good at that, which raises the question, why can't every team be so good at that? But neither here nor there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
go ahead, though.
I don't even know at this point. Christian Hackenberg is... We all overhyped him. At this stage in his career, we all overhyped him.
I don't know. Honestly, I think if Bill O'Brien is still the head coach at Penn State, I think Christian Hackenberg is doing things similar to what he did last year.
Oh, definitely. But right now, Christian Hackenberg is on pace to throw like barely double-digit TDs and more interceptions. And this was his first passing touchdown since the first week of the NFL season.
Since Akron.
Yeah. And I don't even know at this point. It's bad. This offense is bad. This offense does not deserve to be in games because this defense is brilliant. It's just so unfortunate. And this isn't the kind of thing that getting one person like Miles Diefenbach back, that's not going to fix everything. It will certainly alleviate some of the problems, but it's not going to change the fact that our offense right now is tailored for a quarterback that isn't a clone of Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. It's more for a Russell Wilson or Colin Kaepernick type guy who has mobility and can throw, not a guy who takes 3 and 5 step drops and throws darts all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would agree.
I mean, for me, it's not even that. For me, this seems like an offense that is designed to keep a bad team in a game with a better team. Like, I can totally see this being the game plan you call if you're Vanderbilt and they're playing Alabama. Short passes, keep everything in front of you, don't give them any chances to, create turnovers. But we're not Vanderbilt and we're not playing Alabama, and, maybe when you have a 6'7" tight end, you want to use them down the seam. Just a thought.
Yeah.
And the tight ends did get a little more work this week, especially in the second half. I think there was one drive where all the passes went to tight ends. Gesicki, James, Carter.
Yeah, Gesicki looks like he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Like, really
He's an
good.
athlete.
Yeah, definitely. So with how bad the offense was, Penn State still had a chance to win this game with, I don't know, 2 minutes left, and that's one of the plays we'll get to. I wrote down a list here. I think there are 4 plays that really turned the tide in this game.
Okay.
And I talked a little bit with Devin about this before, but I'd really like to get your thoughts too, Bill, and then Devin, make them public too. So 4 plays, I'll list them and then we'll go and talk over them. Number 1, if Ryan Kaiser doesn't just stand and let Devin Funches just steal sure interception from him and take it in for a touchdown.
That was almost like, it was like he was back there fielding a. I'm surprised he didn't put his arm in the air and call for a fair catch when he was waiting for that to just fall gracefully into his arms. That was Michigan's only touchdown today.
Yep.
Everything else.
And it came on a ball on a 3rd and whatever heave that should have been picked down.
Yep.
So that's number 1. Number 2 is the fake punt in the 3rd quarter that looked like it was jumbled right from the start. And who was it? Grant Haley takes a flat sweep and loses 2 yards on 4th and 13. 4th and 13. You're calling a punt on 4th and 13 at the opponent's 37-yard line. I'd rather see Sam Ficken try 55-yarder at that point if that's what you're
Dan,
to do.
Field position is not at all important in a 3-point game late in the second half.
Right. Especially with the defense that we have.
No, you don't want to give them a chance to flip the field or anything. No, why would you do that?
Exactly. So that's number 2. Number 3, I guess you could call an indirect result of that, because they had somewhat good field position and ended up hitting us back on their next punt. Hackenberg's just once a game silly interception, throwing across his body, behind his back, across the field, which led to a Michigan field goal after Russell Bellamy couldn't really do much after Devin Gardner was taken out. And the final play
tried his darndest to help us so much.
Right. Yeah. And then the final play is the offsides call, which wasn't offsides. And it's not like Penn State had to drive down the field. They would have gotten the ball right around the Michigan 30-yard line. And with a minute 30 left with 1 timeout, wouldn't put a whole lot of faith in Penn State to drive 80 yards to score in that time.
Oh, it's 70 is totally different.
But no, just 30 because they were on their side of the field. They kicked out from the 20, so they would have only had 30 yards to go to get a touchdown.
No, that's not how fields work.
No, Penn State would have recovered it at its own third. Like, look at the picture that SBN.
Dan, do you not understand how kickoffs work?
Yeah, Penn State was kicking from its 20.
Right. So they would have
recovered the ball at their 30.
And had to go 70 yards.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Dan, you're going to be a doctor.
I'm beer. Don't worry about me. Okay. I still think the offsides was wrong, and we still had a chance.
It's a fucking atrocious call.
Yeah, but we still would have had a chance, yes.
Don't get me wrong. I'm the kind of person that I'm usually with the people that say one play doesn't decide a game. It's a bunch of plays that end up deciding a game. But when it's a call that takes the opportunity away from a team to put the decision of what's going to happen in the game in their hands, because they're not going to be able to pull off what they pulled on that onside kick again. That was that was.
It's a lot like the Nebraska call 2 years ago.
Yeah, the opportunity to win that
effectively ended the game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was taken out of Penn State's hands, and that's not fair.
No, and look, Penn State would not. I'll say it on the record. Penn State's not going to score a touchdown there. They would not have. But it would have been nice to see them try.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might have said that in the Rutgers game too, and it happened. So, but yeah, regardless, they weren't given the opportunity to win. I think I tweeted like Penn State didn't deserve to win that game, but they should have been afforded the opportunity to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think those are the 4 plays that really turned the tide in this game. And I'd like to hear your opinions on any of the 4 or all 4.
The punt is the one that I'm thinking of. Usually when you see a fake punt, there is some kind of smoke and mirrors involved with it. When they showed the fake punt from the angle of, I think Gullo was the punter, when they showed it from his back, you can see here was the line, here was Gullo back here, and literally directly in between the two was Akil Lynch. Literally the only thing that could have happened in that situation was the ball was snapped directly to Akil Lynch. From there, a punt was not going to happen. They were ready, and their mindset was, this is going to be a fake punt. We need to keep our eyes out for what's going to happen. And once they saw Grant Haley come around, that was a complete giveaway, because you're not going to run a pseudo-read option on a punt play. That's just not smart. If Akil Lynch pulls it back and goes to his left, there are 3 defenders there. Instead, he gave it to Grant Haley and had him sweep, and there were 7 defenders there.
I just like that they ran a sweep to the short side of the field on 4th and 13.
Yep.
Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Really, unless you're in, like, between the 40s and it's, like, 4th and 5, nothing more than that and nothing outside of those areas, you should never fake a punt. Like,
I don't know about that. I mean, I think there are times... Like if it's like 4th and short, you can. I like the the little snap it to the up man, the little diagonal snap.
Yeah, but not in the 4th and 13.
No, never.
Like
unless you've got a really good play dialed up.
Yeah, like the kind of thing that is money every time.
Yeah.
And that play was not money. That it maybe would have worked against a Pop Warner team, but that's about it.
Can I say, and I know it's early, I know it's only been half the season, but that play is one of many that does not give me very much faith in James Franklin as an in-game coach.
That's fair.
And I love him. I think he was the perfect hire. I have the utmost faith that he can get this program to the next level. But, I mean, it's almost like Andy Reid-esque with some of this clock management. It seems like he does not know when there's just so much confusion. There have been some horrible 4th down calls. The pooch punt with Hackenberg at Rutgers. It's more in 6 games than I can remember, and maybe that's what we got cheated of from Joe Paterno, just being the most conservative human being alive. There were no bad decisions, just kind of weak ones.
Yeah.
But it just seems like James Franklin does not have a philosophy, and it's just disjointed, and I don't think he knows what he's doing before he does it.
It's almost like his philosophy is to come in and build a modern college football program. Like, we've seen that with the videos, with the use of social media, with the way he's getting out into the community and, like, being a salesman, with how he's changing up things. And, like, I don't necessarily hate the things that he's changing up, but, like, some of the things that he's changing to make Penn State more modern, per se, it's like he doesn't realize he's coming to a school that consistently wins 8, 9, 10 football games, 7 games in a down season. It's not like he's coming to a place that's consistently been like 5-4-3, 5-2, 4-5 over a stretch of time. It's consistently solid. You don't have to come in and do too much. And it's almost like he's coming in and thinks he has to retool everything, which just doesn't have to happen. But on a positive, thanks to a video that was put out and got a ton of hype, we know that our defensive backs coach can run a 4.8-second 40-yard dash.
Which is pretty impressive for like a 40-year-old dude.
Whoever he is. Is Gaddis 40?
No, I don't know. Wait, was it Gaddis? It was Terry Smith.
No, it was Gaddis. He's a wide
Gaddis.
receivers coach, and he's 30.
Oh, well, still. Actually, that's less impressive.
He runs a 4.8.
I mean, I couldn't run a 4.8. I could only get 7.8.
Yeah. I'm going to look up and see if he was the lead recruiter on Brandon Wimbush, because then I'm going to be furious.
Yeah. I guess, speaking of quarterbacks, now that Brandon Wimbush isn't coming here, that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm going to ask. Christian Hackenberg.
McSorley time.
Trace
How many fingers?
I don't know. Your hands are too high.
Um, I guess I didn't.
in my bed and Wayne in my bed.
Okay.
Sorry, I
Moving
was
on.
doing the sisters from the Finger Lakes.
So I don't think. I think we gave Christian Hackenberg the benefit of the doubt for most of the first half of the season, saying, the offensive line is bad, yada yada yada. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter say this tonight. Has Christian Hackenberg regressed?
No.
Has his talent regressed, or is it a product of the offensive line and the John Donovan offense?
I absolutely think it's the latter. I mean, when he threw that strike to Deshaun Hamilton for the touchdown, that could not have been a better placed, better thrown, more accurate, stronger throw. And those throws have been few and far between. But he is a rhythm quarterback who has not been afforded a chance to get in a rhythm. So when you say has he regressed, I think if you put him in the exact same situation with the exact same players, the exact same coaching, the exact same play call as last year, I think he would put up better numbers. But this is as much a 180 from last year's offense as you could possibly have, and we're seeing the results. And I think that's less to do with Hackenberg and more to do with every single thing around him being as bad as it could possibly be.
I mean, he doesn't have Allen Robinson. No matter how solid Deshaun Hamilton has been and how good Geno Lewis is when he isn't dropping screen passes, they've been very nice, but they're no Allen Robinson. He doesn't have that one guy that he consistently goes to make a play. The tight ends, they have regressed numerically, but it's also a product of the offense where it's not taking advantage of you have a tight end the size of LeBron James. Maybe you should throw the ball to him every now and then.
Yeah, especially in the red zone. It's
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about the red zone offense.
Well, you have to get to the red zone to have a red zone offense. That's the bright side.
Yeah, and it's when we get there that I tweeted this. Oh no, that was about the punt. How when I was younger, I was in a car crash and it was prettier than that fake punt. But that applies to the red zone offense as well. Running the ball, Zwinak has regressed, but that's more of when you have Zach Zwinak. The running play has to be get the ball into his hands as fast as possible and say, Zach, just run over people. Because if you're telling him to break tackles in the backfield, that's never going to work. His longest run today was for 3 yards. He had 7 total yards in the game. With him, it has to be get him the ball and just run straight forward and hope something happens. Akil Lynch, of course, looks nice, but he must have, been the leader of a satanic cult or something. I have no idea why he doesn't play more. And
wait, didn't he tweet something super offensive?
I think he tweeted something about wanting the truth on 9/11.
Yeah, I would mention.
That's not the kind of thing I forget. I never forget. And then Bill Belton.
Did College Sun report that?
And with Bill Belton, this was his best game of the season. But even then, he had one run for 31 yards. If you get rid of that, he ran the ball 13 times for, I have to do math, 38 yards. Not exactly great. So yes, everything around Hackenberg has regressed. I think that the reason that he doesn't look as good as he did last year, just like as Christian Hackenberg, as the pinpoint passer with the laser arm who can get the ball anywhere, is he feels rushed. He feels like he needs to make plays. It's not quite like he has the yips and he forgets how to throw. It's that he forgets how to just be confident in his arm and go through his reads, which, of course, is a product of not having enough time. Because how many times did we see screens and checkdowns to Belton or Zwinak? That's the offensive play. Not Belton, number? Hamilton or Lewis.
He didn't have time to go through progressions. He'd make one read, look off it, and then get sacked.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did that happen? Yeah. That he looks one way, and then as soon as he turns to the next receiver, just goes down.
Listen, yes, part of that is because Michigan has they're not quite outstanding, but they're an excellent front seven. I mean, Frank Clark and Jake Ryan are freaks of nature, but it's still so tough for him. I do think everything with Hackenberg right now is mental. Right. He has not forgotten how to throw balls. He has not forgotten how to go through reads, and he has not forgotten that when he is in a rhythm, he's magic. it's all mental with him right now.
Yeah. I would agree with you guys for the most part. He didn't. The only thing that I would say is that while he didn't throw the ball away a whole lot last year, he seemed to be smarter when those situations came about. Like he would either take a sack when he would have time and just nothing would happen, and
He turtled a lot last year.
Yeah, and
oh wow.
But
Sorry.
he knew what he.
Dr. Bo just had a really nice run. I'm sorry.
Dr. Bo.
Dr. Bo.
But yeah, and then this year, like it's at least once a game, he throws just some interception that makes you, pound your head into the coffee table that's in front of you, like I did tonight. So in that respect, I would say he might have regressed. But yeah, I would agree with you guys saying it's everything else around him that's really causing him to, have to put that much more on his shoulders, and it just might be getting to him. So there's a question in the comments here that our friend Success with Honor Always sent to us, and it's about the team in general. And he asks, I'll read the entire comment here, and we'll get to the question part of it afterwards. He goes, what would you consider progress next game and for the rest of the season? Because I'm not seeing any, and I want to make sure that I'm not missing something. Actually, I lie. The only place I've seen progress is with the Wildcat, and that we're trying to throw the ball because we have guys open. And Bill Belton's pass, if it was 3 inches lower, we have a touchdown to that pass, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, but it's almost like having your running back throw passes in the red zone isn't winning.
Yeah. Right.
Punting is winning.
Right. I made that reference to my roommate. He didn't get it. That's really sad.
He goes, it's still not working, but at least it's an evolution from where we started. Other than that, I don't see any progress. I don't see play designs changing to help compensate for our weaknesses. I don't see new route designs to get our guys open sooner. I don't see us faking the bubble screen. Oh, God, the bubble screen.
Do you remember the Paul Cianciolo fake bubble screen against Michigan State?
What?
Do you remember the Paul Cianciolo fake bubble screen against Michigan State 2008?
Nope.
No. I was driving home during that game, I remember.
Oh, no, it was Devlin threw it. It was a play designed by Paul Cianciolo. And we were up like 42-19. End of the game, they put in Cianciolo, and they fake a bubble screen through, bomb to Deion Butler, and D'Antonio got pissed.
Yeah, I was driving. That was like the snow game, right?
Yep.
2000. Yeah, I was driving home during that.
I was still in Gomer.
Break. No.
You're so young.
But yeah, so what would you consider progress for the rest of the season, is what he's asking. Devin, we'll start with you first.
I think at this point, coming off a bye week with no major change in philosophy, it's clear that there's not going to be one the rest of the way. You have another bye week in Ohio State. I think progress, honestly, is getting 2 more wins, probably Illinois and Temple, almost certainly Illinois and Temple, getting the extra practices, getting the young guys some playing time. I don't know if it's progress in statistics. I don't know if it's progress for Hackenberg. Just helping this team become more competitive next year.
I'll be right back.
Right. Bye, Dan.
What do we do with Dad gone?
I'm doing a podcast.
He's doing a podcast? What's a podcast?
We're playing beer games at Matt and Aaron's house. Aaron's not there, but...
This is so much more entertaining than our conversation.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, and bad. Yeah. But I might come down after this is done. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, do you have like a house with multiple levels?
Guys, we're going to play a beer pong after this podcast is done down the street, so if you guys want to come.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're a junior in high school.
Hey.
We're playing beer games at Grant.
Beer games, apparently. There's more than beer
games. More than just beer pong. Well, sign me up.
It's going to be real fun.
I'll be on the first Greyhound to Lubbock.
You guys
go.
All right. After that aside, go ahead with what you were saying.
Oh, yeah, what I'm saying is get the bowl game, get the extra practices, get out of this year remotely unscathed. Don't have Hackenberg die on the field. That's, I mean, what's the, I'm not really looking in terms of actual statistical progress because we know what this team is, and that was the entire thesis of my post-game reaction, which you should all read on www.blackshoediaries.com.
Ta-ting.
That's http:///www.blackshoediaries.com. But I mean, look, we know what this team is. It's not going to be a markedly different team at any point this year, no matter what happens. So acknowledge it, embrace it, and move on for 2015. And that's defeatist as hell, but that's where we are.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think progress for next week. Next
week we play the bye, thankfully.
Yeah, we don't want the bye taking any of our top recruits again. So progress for next week is Sterling Jenkins stays committed. But the week after, listen, Ohio State may have the best front seven in the country. They have at least the best defensive line. Joey Bosa, Michael Bennett, Adolphus Washington.
No.
Those three could play.
Is Spence still out?
Spence
is he still out? Okay.
Oh, Spence was in, we'd be doomed. Like, we're doomed, but we'd be even more doomed.
We'd be super doomed.
That is what I know. Devin tweeted something like this earlier in the year, kind of like half joking, half serious.
No, I was completely serious.
Oh, okay. Against Michigan State, play McSorley because Hackenberg will get hurt.
Well, it's DJ Crook. I don't want to
Or
burn
DJ Crook.
McSorley's red shirt.
But yeah, no, I'm in trouble. Because for how good Michigan's front seven is, Ohio State's is much better and a really damn good front seven. Joey Bosa is going to eat Donovan Smith or Andrew Nelson, whoever it is, for lunch. And that really hurts me to say because, like, obviously I'm a Penn State fan and I want them to win, blah, blah, blah. No, you have to look at this as a completely unbiased perspective. If anyone picks Ohio State to win in 2 weeks, they are just being a complete homer and they are not going off of facts or anything else.
Penn State.
I picked Penn State to win. My apologies. I'm just putting that out there right now because I know that's going to happen and I'm going to be furious. So next week it's to make sure Christian Hackenberg lives.
So do we go full Waterboy next week? Kneel down 3 times and punt on every offensive series?
I think you have to consider that, like, honestly. And for the rest of the season, let me look at this schedule. We're not beating Ohio State.
We're not beating Michigan State.
Those are two, like, 100% definite. I've zeroed out in my mind.
Yeah.
They're going to happen things. Maryland and Indiana, crazier things have happened. Those two teams, neither are very good on defense, and both are very good on offense. Penn State's not very good on offense, very good on defense. So it's going to be like a bit of a test of wills kind of thing. It will be an unstoppable force against an immovable object, and then on the other side, it'll be a stoppable force against a movable object. So I'm not 100% sure what will happen in those games. Penn State could very easily win one of them. And then Temple and Illinois, those are the kind of games that if you lose them, then you start really asking questions about what is wrong with this team, what is the direction of this team.
Although Temple is 4-1 on the season right now.
4-1. They just beat Tulsa.
Like there's talk of Temple being like the group of 5 team to make it in the.
No, there's not.
There is.
Who by whom?
But it's like they're like number. They're not at the the East Carolina.
Marshall.
UCF, Marshall. They're in that.
BYU.
If those teams
not
fall,
BYU
like
anymore.
they're saying Temple could be the one to move up in there.
Oh, okay. Listen. Temple, going into that game, they actually do have a bit of a tricky schedule. UCF and Houston and Memphis are all nice teams. None of them are really great, but they're all nice teams, nothing too great. East Carolina is going to wipe the floor with Temple. They're incredible.
Did they beat East Carolina? Was in a dogfight with USF today.
Did they end up winning that?
They won 28-17. They rallied. They were down 17-7.
Oh, I can't believe Steve and Bench didn't win, or probably play. But neither here nor there. Oh, no, he didn't play.
Well, that's why they lost.
Temple and Illinois have to win those games. Those are the games that are going to make Penn State bowl eligible. Almost certainly will make Penn State bowl eligible. Ohio State's a loss. Maryland and Indiana, I'm not feeling good about. Michigan State's a loss. You need those two. You need those just for the extra practices. Like
Maryland's home. Indiana's at Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then Temple's home. Illinois is at Illinois.
Wait, is that the last? No, it's not the last game of the season.
No, Sparty's last.
That's a shame. It would have been really nice to see Beckman in his farewell.
No.
Well, hopefully, is that? I wish that was Illinois. Or do they play? Oh no, they played whatever Purdue was last week. Oh, Northwestern is their last game of the year.
Oh, the Land of Lincoln Trophy.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think we need to get bowl eligible, not to play a bowl game, although that's nice and our fans can take a nice trip. We need those 15 practices for next year. Maybe they can institute some sort of new offense in those 15 practices.
The all Wildcat all the time.
Yeah, I'm for that. I'm good with that.
I
love nothing. I want Wildcat every single play.
I just want B-Scaff to lose his mind.
Oh God. So, what were we talking about? Oh, the progress. I agree with Devin. Like, there's not going to be any progress the rest of this year, and this is the year where, and I thought this back 2 years ago. This is the year where the sanctions hit us hardest. We had enough talent especially in 2012, somewhat in 2013, where we could get by with 50, 60 scholarship players because there's talent in those 50 or 60 scholarships. There's not talent here, but it's a lot of freshmen and sophomores with very underdeveloped talent.
Well, yeah, this year, after 3 years of reduced sanction-deprived scholarship classes, 3 full classes that were undersized, that might not have, guys who we might not have been taking if we weren't for the sanctions. So this is the first year where more than half the team is new since the sanctions.
Right. So as much as we want to say, I don't know, like the last 2 years I watched Penn State football with the mindset, we're not going to bowl game. I'm just happy to be watching football. Where I'm going to take what I can get based on everything that we've been putting through. This year, I think, as much as I get mad, I go back to having that same mindset because this is the year where the sanctions were always going to hit us hardest. We're not playing at full strength, and I see one of the commenters here talking about USC, and USC is still, they only have, I think they're in the 50s in their scholarships as well. But it's a whole lot easier to fill those 50 scholarships with high-level talent than it is Penn State because you're going to Los Angeles.
And there was no bowl ban.
Oh, time out.
And there was no bowl ban yet.
Time out.
Or the bowl ban was only 2 years. It's been gone for a few years already.
Devin, are you wearing a flannel shirt and basketball shorts?
He is.
That is like some next level I've given up stuff. My God.
I'm in my apartment. I'm not going to wear pants in my apartment.
Right. Well, we're thankful you have shorts on.
Yeah.
And also, I want to take this time to have a historical milestone in the Poop Fart Hour. We have 37 viewers, which I think is a new record. So
37.
The scariest thing about this is friend of the program, Success with Honor Always, became the first person in the history of recorded man to say the phrase in regards to Devin, "I couldn't agree more, Devin."
I've said that in the past. I've said that in the past.
Actually, I want to get back to something Dan said a minute ago. And
Go
this
ahead.
is the hottest take that I think I have tonight.
Oh boy.
Let me get my flame retardant blanket.
Okay, I just think it's very weird. Maybe it's just me, whatever, but it feels like this year, despite the fact that we could play in a bowl game, despite the fact that we were eligible for a Big Ten championship, whatever, this year kind of, and maybe it's just the whole crass commercialization of the bowl spectacle bullshit, this year kind of feels like every game just matters less than they did the last couple of years. I don't know. It just feels like because the season as a whole can build to something, each game does not have to stand on its own merits, and it's kind of easier to just have each one kind of just wash over you and just not really.
In past years, it was like every game was a bowl game in a way.
Yeah. I mean,
I kind of understand where you're coming from. It's not exactly like the That's not exactly like scorching hot. But I want to get to another comment question from Horse and Buggy. How many weeks do we have to listen to Franklin say, we'll get it fixed, before we stop believing he can get it fixed? I think that's a really interesting question. And, Dan, we never hear your flaming hot takes until after Devin and I scorch the earth, so why don't you go first? And while you go, I'm going to go get a water. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, so am I. Dan, you can talk to all the people listening out there.
You guys don't even want to listen to my hot takes? That's the whole point of it. All right. Actually, I think it was in tonight's press conference afterwards. Let me try to find the. It was Franklin talking about that safety at the end and why they called a timeout so they didn't get the delay of game to lose 1 yard and whatever. I still don't know what happened during those 30 seconds. James Franklin, we wanted to take the safety, so we took a timeout to make sure that we could take the safety. If you don't know in what situation you can take a safety, and how you can do it, I mean, that sort of, I don't know, gives me pause about your coaching abilities.
Yeah.
And I don't think that James Franklin, like all the Rutgers people like to call him Coach Hype. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's just a
Fucking
recruiter.
Rutgers people. They're not real people.
They're not real people. But like he's not just a recruiter. You don't win 9 games at Vanderbilt, by being just a recruiter. I don't believe that for a second. But there are questions on because it goes back to the success without honor always questions. And when do we see progress? And we haven't seen progress throughout this year. I'm willing to give the first year a pass, just because I talked about in the last thing. This is where the Saints are going to hit us hardest, so on and so forth. So I don't know. I guess I'm willing to give this year a semi-pass. Would I like to see progress in some respect? Yes. Would I like to see him take, a little bit more responsibility? Yes. But I want to see him. On Tuesday, I want to see some beat reporter say, "Why is this offense so awful?" And I want to see him give a true answer, not just some coach.
No, he did in the postgame. Did you not see the postgame today, Dan?
What's that?
He actually gave a pretty legit answer in the postgame.
Did he? I was trying to set this up and making my pizza, so I didn't see it.
Maybe I'll be able to hear Devin's answer over him being that guy in the movies with a bag of snacks.
It's plantain chips.
Oh, wow.
That's fancy.
It's hard to call the game when you can't consistently run block and pass block. It's not just the offensive line.
But his excuse for why the team can't consistently... It's not all the offensive line, but our excuse for why we can't do things on offense is the offensive line.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. But, going back to the fake punt, I am going to guess that Chris Gullah has an IQ above, negative 417.
So what you're saying is he's smarter than Geno Smith?
Yeah, I suppose.
We don't need to bring your problems as a Jets fan into this show, Devin.
God, Devin.
Hey, the Islanders are 2-0.
You're almost as salty as those endless appetizers that I ate at TGI Fridays today. But
burn! Take that, TGI Fridays.
But, how hard is it to go up to Chris Gullah and your punter and go, okay, guys, I want you to snap the ball for a safety, and then send them out into the field? Is it really that? What is going on to the sidelines where you can't find your punter and your long snapper and literally say to them, snap the ball out of bounds? 6 words. Ready? Snap the ball out of bounds. That took a second, maybe half a second. It shouldn't be that hard to put that play in, whatever it is. It's so pathetic that we had to call a timeout and do, as Devin so eloquently called it, some Andy Reid-style clock management. Oh, God, that's so maddening. Some of the decisions with, like, the clock and just general play calling is maddening. But you know what? I'm kind of with you, Dan. Like, I do give a semi-pass this year because it's the first year of installing a new system, and we were kind of spoiled when Bill O'Brien came in and he installed his system in like 15 minutes.
No, we did lose to Ohio and Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay. It took him like 3 games to install it, and then Penn State was this well-oiled machine with a redshirt junior walk-on or a redshirt senior walk-on quarterback rewriting the record books, and some 3-star wide receiver that everybody knew because he was Rob Bolden's high school teammate suddenly turns into like a freak of nature. So you really do need to expect some kind of growing pains, but still, within those, you expect the growing pains to, how do I want to say this? You expect the growing pains to be within the confines of giving your team every chance it can to win. And at times, I just question that. I question, why are we running Christian Hackenberg, and why are we having him throw on the run when you know what you have in him? You know what you have in Bill Belton and Zach Zwinak, and yet you're giving these elaborate rushing plays where they have to wait and see in the backfield where they have to go and then attack it. Or you're running screen passes, and both Geno Smith and Deshaun Hamilton, for whatever reason, have had problems. Geno Lewis, sorry, Devin, you corrupted my simple branch campus mind. Whatever issues they have hauling in balls on screen passes, they've had them all year. Or you have an arsenal of tight ends and you're not using them. Why can't we have growing pains with it that still play to our strengths as a football team? It's almost like John Donovan is plugging his ears and going, nope, we're doing what I want to do. Nope. He's like trying to argue with a rhinoceros or whatever it was on Family Guy, where you argue with an elephant. What do you mean Kevin Bacon wasn't in Footloose? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Wait, Kevin Bacon was in Footloose?
Or who was in Footloose.
It was Kevin Bacon. God, you people are so suggestible.
Yeah.
Am I that good of an actor? Jesus, what am I doing in law school?
My God, you should be one of the groundlings, and then Saturday Night Live will steal material from you.
that's a joke.
Wow, you're just throwing the zingers all around.
That's a joke that only you and me get.
And Morar. You think Morar's watching?
He doesn't know what sport is.
In Romania, the only sport is survival.
In Romania, sport play you.
In Romania, we play sport once. then governments execute.
Before we move on, Spencer Hall just had an amazing tweet. I am a man who watched James Franklin and Brady Hoke call timeouts tonight, AMA.
Oh, Jesus. So I think we've talked about all we can in regards to Penn State's decrepitude. There are a couple other things that I wanted to get to. First off, Brandon Wimbush's decommitment. And I know none of the three of us are really recruiting guys, but do you have any thoughts on Wimbush decommitting? And, the Zembiak, McElwain, 2016 class, who we might see there, if at all.
Well, these are the last two. These are the last two guys that you want to ask about Brandon Wimbush, because few people were angrier about that than Devin and I.
That's true.
Yeah. Although I do really want Jake Zembiak. I think I've told you guys this, because the first line on his Twitter bio is "great person."
I mean, it's not God is great, so I'm happy with that.
Don't we all want someone who, when they think of themselves in their Twitter bio and they go, I have 160 characters to say, this is me, what am I leading off with? It's not I'm a 4-star recruit. It's not I go to this All-American game. It's not, I'm a student at this school. It's not anything else. It's I'm a great person.
Was it great person! Exclamation point. Great person.
Devin, do you have any? I know you were angry on
It
Wednesday.
does have an exclamation point.
Yeah.
He's not. He's whatever. Anyway, wait, what were we saying? Oh yeah, Brandon Wimbush.
Yeah, I know you're angry, but can you give us your thoughts succinct and calmly?
So here, just an idea. If you're not sure that you want to go somewhere, don't commit to that place. Just a thought. I mean, like, if Wimbush was, like, considering Penn State and then ultimately chose Notre Dame, nobody's like, wow, what a dick. No, it's like, all right, I'm going to play for you guys. I'm excited about that until somebody better comes along. Like, if you're Syracuse, I understand that. If you're, Wake Forest, like, all right, you can be a placeholder. But we're Penn State. We're supposed to be, like, more than a placeholder. I don't know. That's always been my 2 cents.
Hey guys, do you want to read way too far into something?
Oh God, yes. Oh, absolutely.
Jake Zembiek retweeted the SB Nation college football tweet of
Look outside to you.
Look all sides to you. Want to read way too far into that with me?
Yeah, he's definitely coming to Penn State. I mean, it's like not even a question.
He's a great person.
Yeah.
I love him, and I kind of think he wants to go to Michigan State based on like the Q&A that he did with Nick, where he was saying like, I love this about Penn State, I love that about Penn State, this, that, and then with Michigan State, it's like, they're just cool. Like, it just seems like he really wants to go there. But if he
might be a big young Rich Homie Quan fan.
Aren't we all? Got him feeling some type of way.
Speaking of rappers, in the comments, Roll State just called Shoopaloop, like Snoopaloop from what movie? Help me out. Vince Vaughn and
fuck.
Let's
do it.
Old school, yeah. When
Snoop Dogg. Oh, wait, I thought you were talking
is
about
giving
Starsky and Hutch.
the concert, and Will Ferrell calls him Snoopaloop.
Mm-hmm.
I want to call Bob Shoopaloop from now on.
Okay. But
We're going streaking.
kind of going off what he said, like, this defense is great. It's a legitimately very good defense. Like, I think we can all agree to some extent that the worst player on this defense that consistently plays is probably Trevor Williams, and he like has this knack of always making 1 or 2 really big plays, which is
Accidentally, but yeah.
There's still 1 or 2 really big plays.
Yeah.
So Bob Shoop deserves so much credit for what he's done with this defense, and it really is a shame that the defense is allowing an average of 15 points a game, and for whatever reason, Penn State finds it difficult to score more than 15 points in a game, or at least over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they only let up 64 yards rushing, and I think that'll actually. I think we were letting up 62 or something like that before, so that actually increased the rushing yards per game average. But
Wow.
still, he's doing all right for himself. Oh, nice. Devin Funchess also had 69 yards receiving.
Nice.
Nice.
One other thing that I wanted to get to, and then we can talk about like national college football for like 10 minutes or so.
Sure.
It isn't, once again, it's a recruiting thing, and while nothing has been confirmed yet, verbal commit Miles Hartfield has been part of the whole Sireville hazing thing, and we don't know if he was arrested last night or not. Cops were at his house. His dad was at the police station until at least midnight last night, but we don't know if he was arrested or not. What do you think Penn State's plan should be with him? I can't remember the recruit off the top of my head who got into trouble last year.
Zaid Issa.
What's that?
Zaid Issa.
That's right. What do you think should happen with this whole Hartsfield situation? If it ends up being that he wasn't involved, was not arrested, is he still a risk to take on. What are your thoughts on that?
If he wasn't involved, I see no reason for there to be any kind of.
But remember, he was the captain of the team where it did happen.
So yes, firm talking to, and he never gets any. You have to be a better leader than this. But if it turns out that he was involved in any way, I don't know how Penn State can take him. I honest to God don't know. I would legitimately be furious if it came out that he was, saying the ringleader is a bad phrase, but he was involved in everything, and since he's the team captain, he does have ultimately a little bit more responsibility. But if it comes out that happened, and James Franklin still says, "Oh, he's a kid, he made a mistake, we're just going to take him," I just turned James Franklin into an Italian man for some reason. But if that happens...
Was that your Joe Paterno looking the other way voice? Oh, God.
Oh, God, damn it.
What have I done? Fuck.
There's no, address information in your background there, is there?
No.
Miles Hartfeld is not coming to Penn State. Please move on immediately.
No, I mean, yeah. I think if there is one thing to take, though, James Franklin, with the whole thing at Vanderbilt, is not going to look the other way when it comes to... God, why do I keep using this word? He reacts appropriately, and that's it. He does the thing that is necessary to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Next question before I piss off the other half of the internet.
Okay. Do we just want to go through very quickly a national college football type of thing?
I mean, you can. I'm just going to watch the last minute.
I mean, college football is really exciting this year. Come tomorrow, Mississippi State should be the #1 team in the nation.
And
Mississippi State is going to be the #1 team in the nation.
And if they're not, you have an amazing case for making them the #1 team in the country.
Right.
I mean, Ole Miss is beating the pants off A&M in A&M.
Yeah. Dr. Bo. Oh, Texas A&M just scored, but they're still down 35-14.
Baylor and TCU played the greatest football game of all time today.
Oh, God, can I just say, I know our game was 18-13, but 61-58 is not a football score. That's just wrong.
I mean, I would have watched that game.
I
watched the hell out of it.
Explicitly did not watch that game.
I stopped watching the Penn State parts, and part of the Penn State game to watch the end of that. It was just awesome.
And next week, Baylor goes to Morgantown to play West Virginia. And the last time Baylor was at West Virginia, West Virginia won 70-63.
That was the game where he who shall not be named that used to play quarterback for West Virginia threw 8 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
Is that the one where he threw the one that was like the pinball touchdown?
It may have been.
Yeah, that was a bowl game, wasn't it?
That was the season opener.
Wait, was it?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Okay, give me a second. I have to do some math here. Bryce Petty threw for 510 yards today and completed 28 passes. He averaged 18 yards a completion. That is silly.
That's not bad.
And it also, Baylor threw for 510 yards and ran for 272 yards. They had 782 yards of total offense. Good.
How many did we have?
214.
That's not as good, is it?
They had more rushing yards than Penn State had total yards, and they had nearly twice as many passing yards as they did rushing yards.
Whoops.
It must be so nice to have a team like that.
It's more nice when you're leading rush at 69 yards.
Nice.
Do you know?
I don't like that. I like the pro style. I like what we had the last couple of years. Can we just for a second imagine what would have happened if Bill O'Brien didn't have to deal with sanctions?
No, that would be unfair. To be fair, if we didn't have to worry about sanctions, Urban Meyer is probably our coach right now.
No, he's not.
He did buy a house in Boalsburg.
He did. And then the other one that recently has picked up a lot of steam was they loved Dan Mullen at Mississippi State.
Yeah, but then Dan Mullen is not this Dan Mullen, and people would have been pissed if we hired him.
This Dan Mullen has an experienced team. Then Dan Mullen had a bunch of freshmen playing for him.
This Dan
This
Mullen.
Dan Mullen is this Dan Mullen is not lost since going on ESPN and quoting Christmas Vacation.
I was just about to say that.
Were you?
This Dan Mullen is a businessman. This Dan Mullen is homeless.
This Dan Mullen went to market. This little stay-at-home.
New Line Cinemas presents These Dan Mullins.
Okay, can we just like clone Dan Mullen, get like 12 of them, put them in a house and film it?
And one Bert. Bert wore shower shoes.
You can
on
never-
FCC Nation today.
Of course he did. He also wore like a weirdly red and black jumpsuit.
I don't question Bert.
I mean, I fuck that guy for the clock
Speaking
management shenanigans, but
Speaking of Bert, he took Alabama to the wire. Alabama only won 14-13 over
Wow.
Arkansas. Notre Dame,
I
Carolina,
miss John L. Smith.
50-43. So go Irish. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame.
Go, Dan, go home.
Notre Dame, I think they are a perfectly cromulent football team. They gonna get
But fuck them.
They gonna get their shit kicked next week.
Somebody go and get the head check.
Like
Somebody gonna get their wig split.
FSU has kind of figured out whatever was wrong with it earlier this year.
3-6, yeah, as evidenced by their dominant 18-point win over Syracuse.
Yeah. And who knows? Does Jameis Winston still play next week?
There is actually an article that suggested that Jameis Winston's best move, if he wants to avoid any kind of possible lawsuit, is to drop out of Florida State. Because if he stays in school and they do this school investigation, that means the school is going to open up all files and records pertaining to his alleged rape case. And if they rule that he broke the school's honor code, that means they're going off of various pieces of information, and the floodgates will just
So
open.
he's gonna get so he would get free reported.
In a way. Listen, you can argue that the smartest thing for Jameis Winston to do is to get out of Florida State as quick as possible. That wouldn't happen because I don't think he's that selfish, because for all of Jameis Winston's flaws, I think he truly loves being at Florida State and he truly loves his teammates, but still, that would be...
Not as much as he loves crab legs, though.
Yeah. Crab legs and cheese balls. He loves cheese balls.
And fucking people right in the pussy.
Oh,
Why didn't we have Polak on instead?
I don't know.
I didn't say it. Jameis Winston did. I mean, I also said it, but
You're fired, Devin. Get off of our show.
you can't fire me. You don't have firing power.
This show I do. It's me and Bill's show. We brought you on.
Dude, I was part of this from the beginning.
You're nothing without us, Edwards.
Let's see here. In the Big Ten,
You can't
Iowa
fire me. I
beat
am the
Indiana.
show.
Michigan State ekes out against Purdue.
That was fun.
I am Queens Boulevard.
Whatever that Purdue thing is, they gave Michigan State one hell of a football game.
Yes, they did. Minnesota beats Northwest. Minnesota's 5-1.
Minnesota's very good.
Yeah, they are. And Wisconsin beat Illinois.
Can
Well,
we
yeah.
just take a timeout and say that Minnesota and Northwestern had legitimate Big Ten title implications? What a world we live in.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Well, weekend updates
Nope.
coming up. So, and Bill Hader is hosting.
Oh, yeah, we got to end this so I can watch Stefan.
Hi. Hey, Stefan. What have you done lately? Everything.
State College's hottest club is, God damn it, Manjiro!
New York's hottest club is Kevin.
New York's hottest club is Boof with 9 O's.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
Spicy.
Good
All right.
night, America.
See you guys.
We'll talk to you when we get our asses kicked by Ohio State in 2 weeks.
We will.
Deuces.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Dude, we're gonna be too drunk.